What is going on, Revo fans? What do we have here? We have the all-new FOCUS SAM², which is been in the mag for a little bit of time now. JT's been riding this bike flat out, and we're basically doing our wrap-up review on what makes this new e-bike from FOCUS bike tick, so to speak. So I really like the previous model of this bike. You've been riding this one, JT. Run us, all the fans at home, a few facts and figures on this new FOCUS SAM².
That's it, Scotty. It feels a bit weird to be sitting on this side. I'm the one asking the questions, you're the reviewer. But
correct.
You're right, I've spent a ton of time on this bike. Now, the original Sam² is a bike we spent a heap of time on. FOCUS did a huge overhaul earlier last year, and this is one of the bikes that they really put a lot of effort into redesigning. They played true to a lot of the strengths that we found on the original Sam², being they stayed full alloy only the frame, 290 wheels. But the thing about the Sam² is it's a beast. 180mm travel up front, 170 in the rear. This one's got a coil shock. We're really edging on that self-propelled downhill bike, right?
So even a bit more travel than the last one as well.
It does. They're pushed out a little bit more. The geo's gotten tweaked as well, so it's pretty slack there. But because it's got the Bosch Gen 4 motor, but obviously that was the benchmark when this bike was released, there's so much power and so much usable power from the motor that it gets you back up to the top of the trail, back up the top of the hill, even though it's got a lot of heft in the bike itself. In terms of the spec as well, like there's just a lot going on. As I said, like this is a bike you're probably going to want to be investing in a full face helmet if you get, because man, you can go deep on this thing.
Well, I've seen you out riding on the trails today, and it definitely plows through the chunder. Like this is sort of the bike that, you know, you point and shoot, and it looks like it really holds its line.
It does. Excuse me. It's playful though as well. That's one thing I really like about FOCUS bikes. The team that design these bikes ride a lot, and they ride hard over in the Alps there and whatnot. So yeah, a lot of that DNA that carries across is from riders that, like, this isn't the first bike you're going to get if you want about e-bike. Probably not the first one you're going to get. This is the bike you're going to get if you've ridden a few e-bikes, you know what you want. You want something you can really attack, like a hectic trail on. It still cruises nicely. You can still like get out to the trailhead, no problem. As I said, you got the Performance CX Gen 4 motor there, so you got pretty much the best motor in the market, which you can connect to your Flow apps. You got all your connectivity, you got your 4 power modes, like all the bells and whistles you want there. But in terms of a bike that you can really go deep, like if you're keen on hitting some big jumps or hitting some big chundery, gnarly lines, descents, this is a bike that's going to instill you with the confidence. As soon as you start tipping it into this section you're not sure about, and you're like, oh, hold on, I'm still on the bike, I lived, and he gets to the bottom and you're just like, oh, let's do it again. Like, it really, like, I used to ride a heap of gravity. I haven't been riding as much as the years get on. I get more kind of mindful of my mortality and get hurt. But this bike, I spent a bunch of months on it, and it's giving me a lot of
definitely a gravity-fed e-bike,
Oh, yeah. Probably more so than any other e-bike I can really remember riding, certainly in recent years. But the thing I like about it, too, it's a bit of a sleeper. It just looks like a regular e-bike. But in terms of the gravity prowess of it, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, I'd say.
Well, one thing you fans at home will maybe notice is the silhouette of this bike is a little bit different. The previous model had the fold linkage suspension, where this bike, personally, looks a bit sleeker in that as well. But you rode the previous version of this bike as well. So in comparison to that, how do you think this bike feels in comparison to that one?
Look, the first one was awesome again because it was unlike anything really that was out on the market at that time. Again, just a point and shoot bike. Like, it would get you through a section you didn't think you'd be able to get through. I would say this is more refined. The way the tubes have been formed, the way they come together, the ecosystem of the motor. I just feel it's really kind of pushed the bike more into, like, you know, it was a cutting edge bike in 2024 in terms of alloy. A lot of brands are going down the line of carbon and whatnot. FOCUS know what they want this bike to be. They want it to be a shuttle bike. They want it to be a bike that you can, you know, go deep on a trail, and if you kind of come off, you can let go of it and it's not going to break. So that's what it's been intended for.
But it looks good, man. Like, it's alloy done well.
Oh, yeah, man. FOCUS do alloy real nice.
Really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing with this is previous model had the Shimano EP8 motor, where this sucker has got the CX motor. So, I mean, a lot of bike brands are really gravitating towards the Bosch motor due to their reliability, after-sale service.
Especially here in Australia.
100%, especially in Australia. Like, they're really good, hey?
Oh, yeah.
So as far as like, you know, the comparison between, you know, the Shimano motor, not to make comparisons, Shimano make an excellent motor and a lot of brands making a very good motor, but the Bosch system in these bikes tends to set the benchmark at the moment, yeah?
Absolutely. Now, one thing, I don't want to get too bogged down into the spec because,
Yep.
you know, this model, the Sam2 is available in 2 different specs. So there's all, you know, pick and choose. But one thing I do want to sort of touch on with this bike is the suspension. So this is the factory 38 on the front.
Yep.
And the DHX
Eats the trails.
It's so plush. It's
What are you laughing about that today?
Plush.
Like I was watching you like hit some pretty gnarly section, and you just watch that front end track and those forks. Like it's like your head's still, your arms and that are still, and that front end is like working hard, but the bike looks super stable.
It's really, really nice. It's super balanced as well. I feel like maybe because it's 2929, not a mullet, maybe the coil, just the way it kind of clings to the trail when you want it to, but at the same time when you want to pop off something, it's happy to set sail. So really impressed with the suspension on this bike. The FOCUS stuff is actually, yeah, really, really impressed me. The only thing I have changed, I did swap the tyres over. We've got the Goodyears on there now. It comes with Maxxis. Everyone knows Maxxis. Basically, out of the box, this thing, you don't need to change anything. And it's cool. You know, it's got the screen we didn't have last.
Yeah, so there's a few like little changes in relation to the screen and the interface and the controller. Like there's a lot of changes with what the linkage, you know, the colorways, the specs on the bike, the suspension kinematics, the angles on this bike. I mean, they've gone into like in deep in relation to refining this bike.
Mate, Focus know what they're doing, especially on their e-bikes. The Focus e-bikes are epic. So I'd say the Jam SL in particular, but now this thing, mate, awesome. Right now, these things are still on sale. The summer sale is kicking, $8,999. So it's like thousands and thousands off retail. You can't, mate, very, very hard pressed.
But even at retail, these things like bang for your bucks. Like they're a quality bike.
Well, that's the thing. We haven't ever had a durability issue with a Focus.
No.
You know, sometimes we get bikes, and you know a little bit will go wrong here. The bearings will go, or whatever. We'll swap them over. But these things are strong. You know, there's little things that I reckon personally I'd like to see improve. Like, you know, the cable clutch at the front isn't like super appealing. There's a few little bits and pieces, but you can't be too nitpicky because every bike's got its quirks. But in terms of how this thing rides, the look of it as well, and everything else, mate, I reckon the FOCUS SAM², the latest model,
plus bang for your bucks, like they're very hard to go past.
I would literally buy one of these, no problem. I don't think it's so much a one e-bike to do all jobs. It's definitely on the burlier side. But if you're into riding big burly stuff,
yeah, so I mean, in relation to wrapping up this review and so to speak, if you're going to go and buy one of these and this is the e-bike of choice, who do you think this e-bike is really made and marketed towards?
Someone that's like a good ride, well, not a good ride, but someone that's like been riding for a while and's decided the style of riding they really like the most, which is burly riding. You know, they want to head to Threadbow, they want to head to Medina, they want to head to Bright. Something that's going to be epic because then it's still going to be perfect for cruising around the afternoons after work to your regular loop. But yeah, someone that wants to go like and like really push themselves. As I said, someone that's probably going to want to, you know, have a full face helmet there as well, some knee pads, that style of rider. This is your weapon, I'd say. There
you go. So someone who really the type of e-bike rider who wants to explore the outer realms of MTB, put it that way.
Yeah, totally. Honestly, like I've ridden around this thing for a couple of months and I still don't reckon I've pushed it to its full limit. I'd say I'm the one holding it back in terms of how hard you can punch down a trail. But yeah, super impressive, and man, I don't want to give it back.
There you go. Well, guys, if you want a super burly e-bike, something that's going to explore the outer realms of MTB, you like the content we're putting on our YouTube channel and you like our printed magazine, make sure you put some comments below and we'll get back to you in relation to if you're thinking about buying one of these bikes. But yeah, definitely if you're the type of aggressive MTB rider who really wants a bike that's going to plow through the chunder, big hits, big skids, big wheelies, does it all, and really likes the gnar, then we would definitely consider buying the new FOCUS SAM². Cheers.
Cheers, guys.